Dear Toastmasters, good evening and welcome. July, hot summer day last year, I was diagnosed. With a mild tummy ache. The day was long and I wanted so much ice cream and the sugar and the chocolate. I was just eating all that I can. But I also had a bit of a flu, so I decided to go to the doctor. Normally when I go to the doctor, the nurse always asks me to step on the scale. And the number I saw right here just didn't seem right. So I warned her, I said, ma'am, something wrong. Your scale is broken. And you can't run a practice with these broken scales. People expect the right number. She looked at the number, she wrote it down, she goes, you're not the first person to say that, nor the last. But I wasn't laughing. This is serious. So I sat down, waited for the doctor, and then he walked in. Such a sweet man. Indian American man who's named Dr. Patel. Such a charming accent. He has his papers, he sits right in front of me. We always had good dialogue, really respectful relationship. Always asked him about everything. Sits down, he looks at the paper, he goes, 200 pounds. It's like 91 kilos. You are very, very overweight. Thank you for the compliment. He looks back at me, he goes, you need to start watching what you eat. You need to start exercising. You need to stop eating so late. Tell me what the last meal you had. Ice cream? You need to stop having ice cream in the afternoon. I really admire him. I respect him. He's full of knowledge. I mean, my fiance studied medicine, so I know there's a lot of things you need to learn. But the thing is, the truth is, Dr. Patel isn't the skinniest guy around. In fact, kind of chubby. But I was too. So I said, with all due respect, Dr. Patel, if you're here telling me this advice, doesn't the same apply to you? With all due respect. He laughs, he goes, ha ha ha. Many doctors do not practice what we preach. But please, do as I say, not as I do. Ha ha. And he grabbed his belly. Great guy. So I walked out, walking home, and then I stopped in the middle of the street and I said, do as I say, not as I do. It didn't sit well with me. It kind of made my skin crawl. Although I have so much admiration for this man, I did not appreciate his words. You see, when I think of do as you say, not as I do, I think of my niece and my nephew watching me, and I'm doing something else and telling them to do this. It's hypocrisy at its worst. So I'm the leader, one day hopefully a parent, I'm this role model, and here I am not practicing what I preach. Something has to change. At least for this man, or at least for these situations, with people who do preach this. So, in this moment, I realized there's so many benefits when you do practice what you preach. For one, this inner peace. Because you know that you're saying things and you're doing things. There's also the fact that people trust you. They actually know that, hey, I can count on him. He's accountable. He really actually does what he promises. The benefits can be listed all the way through. My question to you, and I hope one of you can answer, why do people not practice what they preach? Can you give me in one sentence or in one word?
Honest to themselves?
Possibly, yeah, not honest to themselves. Maybe even temptation just gets the best of them, right? Because I mean, we're human, we're not robots, we're not always going to be perfect, and I'm not asking anyone to be perfect. But when it comes to what you just said, sometimes we're not honest with ourselves with that commitment, or when temptation is right in front of us. What happens? It's that instant gratification. I mean, I'm here offering you chocolate because I know I'm going to give you some immediate gratification, so maybe you can like my talk a little bit better, right? But I had ice cream that day, and I know all about immediate gratification. But what I do know more about is practicing what I preach. And I said to myself, no, if I'm going to practice, so if I'm going to preach something, I'm going to make sure I practice it. If not, I'm going to keep my mouth shut. And that's how I'm going to say it. It's aggressive, but I'm going to keep it shut. No. Now, I know it's not easy. I'm not going to be here and tell you, hey, just walk Jesus' path. There's so many religious saints out there. You can be one too. I know it's not easy. But if you think about it, the commitment, the struggle within is always worth it when you do overcome that obstacle of that chocolate or that ice cream. Or for even deeper sakes, the values like you mentioned earlier, when it comes to loyalty or trust or just being a person that is actually there for others. A few practical steps that I would recommend that I actually do every day, because if not, I will be back on that ice cream trail, is reminders. On my phone, in my background, there's no picture of a dog, even though I think about dogs. There's no picture of my niece and my nephew, even though I love them. But it's the word help others. Because I need to be reminded of that. Not that it's something I'm going to forget, but that reminder helps me look at that for the first moment of my day. That's just one of the tips that I use for myself. Another thing is journaling. Journaling to me is this reinforcing what I believe in and writing it down every single day as an affirmation. It's almost as if when you write it down, it's the top of your newsfeed. You know when you go to your Facebook or your Instagram, the top of the newsfeed? But it's almost like you could actually put your own newsfeed in your own mind by writing down what you want. And the third is accountability partner. My fiance is my accountability partner, because if I do not practice what I preach, guys, I'm telling you, I'm going to hear it. If I'm telling everyone, you better wash your dishes after you eat, and I'm here like, oh baby, I'm going to take a nap after I eat, she's going to tell me right away. And that's just one example. When it comes to the deeper values and commitment, that's even more important for us as humanity, in my humble opinion. Now, I want to go back to almost 8 months later. I walked into the doctor's office. I lost a little weight because I had to start listening to what not only the doctor said, but what my body said, my fiance said, and what I really need to do for myself. Sitting down, happy with the new machine. They seem to have fixed the machine because I lost weight. And this man, Indian American, walked in, looked like Mr. Patel, but I don't think it was. And he looks at the chart and goes, 167 pounds. You are not very, very overweight anymore. Dr. Patel looked at me and said it, and I looked at him and I go, you're looking pretty healthy yourself, buddy. He goes, I practice what I preach. Lost weight. I'd like to leave you off with just one question. You don't have to answer it, you don't have to beat yourself up with it, you don't have to do anything, just ask yourself. Do you really, 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 really practice what you preach? Thank you.